Hey folks, Lemonade here. So Logitech released the updated version of their G502. My wife needed a new mouse from her G602. So I said, what the hell? Let's get it in. Let's test it out. Let's see what the hype is about this thing. Okay folks, let's start with the specs and get those out the way real quick. So, it comes equipped with the Hero 25K sensor, 140 hours of battery life, 1000 hertz polling rate. The weight is 101.5 grams for the white, 99.7 grams for the black. Dimensions are 131.4 millimeters long, 79.2 millimeters wide, and 41.1 millimeters tall. And it retails for $139.99 USD. Now let's cover what you get in the box here. So the box itself, a super nice classic Logitech box. Has this nice little foam puck at the top. I like to see that. Protects the mouse in shipping. Nice details about the actual mouse. Now inside you get, of course, cable, dongle, and a couple other things. So let's start with the cable here. Cable is, I would never recommend this to actually use while gaming. It's a stock rubberized stiff cable. Definitely not nice. No go for me for gaming. Now, there's a couple of things here. Of course, you get that awesome Logitech G sticker here if you fancy this kind of stuff. But also this little thing. You know, like, what the hell is this, Lemonade? Let's see if I can pull it up to the camera to focus. So that is a keycap, essentially. So there is a button on this mouse called the DPI shift button. So you can click this and your DPI will essentially be lowered if you're, like, say, sniping. So I have it set up, 1600 DPI is my stock. Goes down to 800 DPI as long as I'm holding this button. As soon as I let go, it goes back. Now, you might not like that. There's a couple things you can do with it. It's magnetically attached, so pops right out. You can face it the way I was facing it to kind of keep it further away from your thumb, but you can also flip it the other way, like that. And now it's a little bit closer to your thumb. Or again, you can completely disable the button by installing this keycap here, like so, and it's completely flush, and the button is completely disabled, so you don't have to use that. Really nice touch. This is really some cool innovation from Logitech. Big thumbs up there. Okay, so build quality of this thing is awesome. I mean, it's fantastic. You wouldn't expect less from Logitech at this price category. That said, the weight does really hold it back. I mean, it is back heavy. It's not super well balanced, and obviously it's, plus 100 grams, so that's definitely something that holds it back, but it gives it that kind of, quality feel. Quick close up here. So look at that, USB-C. Yay, Logitech finally. Hopefully we see USB-C real soon on the updated version of the G Pro Superlight. You got rubberized grips and grooves on both the sides of the mouse here. A really deep thumb groove, as you can tell. You have their infinite scroll wheel. So the scroll wheel is normal like that. You click this button here and it just goes free until you kind of stop, or it comes to a stop by itself. Right underneath that, you got the DPI button, side buttons down here, classic ones, but you also have these near your mouse one. Skate design is changed from the previous G502, so just heads up there, but that you can see how they look, and we'll go into further detail on those soon. Okay, so the sensor, again, it's the tried and true Hero 25K sensor, same as in the G Pro Superlight. Definitely nothing wrong with it, but it's getting a bit dated in terms of, on paper specs. Current top end sensor in mice is the 3395. You'll find that on the Pulsar X2, Lamzu Atlantis, and my PureTrack Valor. Razer has an exclusive new top end sensor that beats them all. You can actually see my Viper V2 video up here for more information on that. Now, the switches themselves, these are brand new for this particular mouse. They are using their new Lightforce hybrid optical mechanical switches. Whew, that's a mouthful. They're a blend of mechanical optical elements, of course. They give you kind of a springier mechanical feel, but the performance of optical. Now, compared to Razer's optical, they are definitely springier. These are a bit stiffer, and they are lighter to actually actuate. They have more pre and post travel though, and actuation again is a tad lighter. The sound is also more tinny than the Razer ones. Razers have a kind of thicker sound. While I do appreciate the innovation from Logitech, and I'm sure the on paper performance is better than their old Omron switches, they just feel a bit lackluster. Jack of all, master of none kind of feeling. If you want mechanical, get a mechanical switch. If you want optical, get a true optical. It's not bad, just not really great. Now, moving on to the skates, I'm going to assume that they're 100% PTFE based on how they look and feel. Logitech's site doesn't provide more information on if they're 100% or not. They have a unique design, obviously, different than the previous iterations of this mouse, but they perform good enough for various surfaces. Nothing special, though. I do like the notches around the edges of each skate, so you can kind of replace those easily. That said, I don't see any third-party skates available yet. Again, do not use the old G502 skates on this. It will not work. Coating is a mix of this slicker OEM plastic and then the rubberized side grips, but with the built-in side grips, I feel incredibly locked in and super comfy. Definitely no complaints there. You could, again, look for kind of like do-it-yourself grip, and you can kind of add that here if you prefer, but no big trouble for me. Now, the closest comparison I have to this mouse is the PureTrack Valor. Now, again, there's a video review of that here. You can check out all the details about it, but this is essentially an OEM clone in terms of the shape to the Logitech G Pro Superlight. So if you have one of those, this is a big mouse. That's all I got to say. The Logitech G Pro Superlight is on the larger side, but it just kind of fits in like perfectly. This is definitely engulfing your hands, so just expect that this is big. Now, my hands are 19.5 by 10 centimeters. And I think a relaxed claw, aggressive claw, and palm are the options here. Fingertip is a total no-go for this particular mouse, just for the overall length and width, unless you have, you know, really long fingers, then maybe, but for most people, probably not for fingertip. In-game performance was, to put it lightly, bad. Now, hold up. I did have some good games with it, and it felt super comfortable to use, but that was all for the first hour or two. After that, you really feel that 100-gram plus weight, especially with it centered in near the rear. It's kind of off balance. It just doesn't feel great. If you're used to the kind of weight, it might feel great to you, but if you're playing with mice that are, you know, 50 or 60 grams like myself, it's a noticeable difference. This also depends on the game you're playing. I tested this on Overwatch 2, and for the amount of tracking and movement there is, I just can't recommend this for serious players. So who's it for? If you play something slower like a milsim or are more of a casual and general FPS, then this really won't be an issue. Or if you don't even like FPS games, then this is a perfect fit. I really see this as a great fit for someone who wants a mouse that helps them get tasks done at work, but is also a competent mouse to game with. And for that, it hits home. I mean, it has all the latest gaming tech from Logitech with a comfy exterior, nice added functionality. Speaking of which, let's dive into the software because I'll kind of show you some of the things you can do with that. Okay, so we're going to pop in a Logitech G Hub here. Of course, you have multiple Logitech devices, it can control them all. So here you can set your DPI stages. You can add multiples if you want. And then now you have your, you know, main default DPI, and then this is your DPI shift. So when I hit that button on the side that I was showing you earlier, as you can see in the bottom right, it goes to 800. Let go, it goes to 1600. It's seamless, it's super quick. The, again, polling rate maxes out at 1000 hertz. You also have default profiles for certain games like Overwatch, New World, Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 2042, Apex, all these games. And they do have some kind of like unique functionality to these games, so it's kind of cool. You can also, again, change some of the defaults within those. If you don't want that, you can dial in every possible setting you can think of for any of these keys, commands, actions, macros, whatever you may want or need. You can swap this all out or disable keys if you necessarily don't want to use them. Now, we're going to go onto Logitech's website here real quick. I want to show you a couple things. So there's 3 versions of this mouse: the wired version, the LightSpeed version, which I have, and the Plus version. Do not buy this. Do not buy this. I repeat, do not buy this. The only difference of $20 or $30 more is RGB. That's literally the only difference. Totally not worth it. I would not recommend this unless you're a crazy fan for RGB. Then go for it. It's the same mouse, but for most people, just get the middle one if you want a wireless version. This is a demonstration of their optical switches. So you can see kind of the mechanical mechanism, that springboard mechanism that triggers the optical sensor there. The mouse is also compatible with the Logitech G PowerPlay wireless suite, so you can buy this whole pad and then replace the bottom puck. I'll show you that in just a moment. And you can use this surface and it will charge wirelessly on it. So that's a pretty neat feature if you want to dish out $120. And just like I was saying, there's a puck here. You can actually remove this to save a few grams of weight if you want to, if you're kind of crazy aimer like that. Or this is where the PowerPlay puck would go in replacement of this. So overall, folks, again, I think if you're a particular gamer or if you want a multi-purpose mouse, this really is comfortable. But if you're a really serious aimer, I just can't recommend this over all the other great options out there on the market today and for cheaper. On that note, all my socials are down below, along with any affiliate links and discount codes. If you had a good time with me today, likes and subs are always appreciated. Leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. But until the next Fresh Squeeze video, stay thirsty, folks.